Imagine a small port city on the edge of the Baltic Sea, a city that once thrived under German culture, but now stands at the heart of a dangerous game between two nations. Its cobbled streets hum with whispers of rebellion, while its docks bear witness to ships carrying the weight of empires. This city, Danzig, is more than a mere dot on the map. It's a spark, teetering on the brink of igniting a firestorm that will consume the world. Why did Poland refuse to yield it to Germany? Was it sheer defiance, a calculated risk, or a desperate act to protect its sovereignty? And how did this decision push Europe toward the deadliest conflict in human history? In the shadows of diplomacy and the glare of rising fascism, the story of Danzig unfolds. A tale of pride, power, and peril. What would you have done if you were Poland? Let's unravel the mystery that changed the course of history forever. Poland's refusal to hand over Danzig, a comprehensive analysis. Poland's decision to refuse Adolf Hitler's demand to hand over the free city of Danzig, modern Danzig, Poland, to Germany in the late 1930s was a pivotal moment in European history. This refusal not only set the stage for the outbreak of World War II, but also symbolized its determination to safeguard its sovereignty in the face of escalating German aggression. The issue of Danzig, a strategically and symbolically significant city, was deeply intertwined with the political, economic, and military dynamics of the interwar period. This analysis explores Poland's decision-making process and the broader historical context, delving into 6 key areas: the significance of the Treaty of Versailles, Danzig's economic importance, Germany's expansionist policies, Poland's national identity, the role of international alliances, and the prelude to war. 1. The Treaty of Versailles and the creation of the Free City of Danzig. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, 1919, dramatically reshaped the map of Europe. The treaty imposed harsh terms on Germany, including significant territorial losses and reparations, which fueled resentment and revanchism. One of the treaty's controversial provisions was the creation of the Free City of Danzig. Danzig, a historically German city, was detached from Germany and placed under the protection of the League of Nations. The city was not given to Poland outright, but was closely tied to it economically. This arrangement was designed to ensure Poland's access to the Baltic Sea via the Polish Corridor, a strip of land separating East Prussia from mainland Germany. The Polish government was granted control over Danzig's foreign relations, customs, and railways, while the city retained internal autonomy. For Germany, the loss of Danzig was a national humiliation. The city had been a symbol of German culture and prosperity, and its separation was perceived as a violation of self-determination. This resentment became a rallying point for German nationalists, including Adolf Hitler, who promised to restore Danzig to Germany. 2. Economic and strategic importance of Danzig to Poland. For Poland, Danzig was more than a city. It was a lifeline to the world. After regaining independence in 1918, Poland faced the challenge of rebuilding its economy and integrating into the global market. Access to the sea was crucial for trade, and Danzig served as Poland's primary seaport. Poland used Danzig to export coal, grain, and timber while importing industrial goods and machinery. Losing control over the city would have crippled Poland's economy, leaving it reliant on German ports and trade routes. The importance of Danzig was heightened by the lack of alternative ports. Gdynia, a Polish-built port, was still in its infancy during the 1930s and could not fully replace Danzig's capacity. Strategically, Danzig's location on the Baltic Sea made it a key asset for Poland's national security. Control over the city allowed Poland to maintain a presence in the region and defend its coastline. Surrendering Danzig would have exposed Poland to German naval dominance and left it vulnerable to blockade or invasion. German expansionism and the demand for Danzig. Adolf Hitler's demand for Danzig was not an isolated event, but part of a broader strategy to expand German territory. Hitler's ideology, articulated in his book Mein Kampf, emphasized the need for Lebensraum, living space, in Eastern Europe. This expansionist vision sought to annex territories with German-speaking populations and create a vast empire stretching into Slavic lands. Hitler's foreign policy was characterized by a series of calculated moves to undermine the Versailles Treaty and rebuild German power. The annexation of Austria, Anschluss, in 1938, and the occupation of the Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia later that year were preludes to his demand for Danzig. In each case, Hitler used the rhetoric of self-determination to justify his actions, claiming that ethnic Germans were being mistreated and needed protection. By the late 1930s, Hitler turned his attention to Poland. He demanded the return of Danzig to Germany and the construction of an extraterritorial highway and railway through the Polish corridor to connect East Prussia with the rest of Germany. While these demands were framed as minor adjustments, they were, in reality, part of a strategy to weaken Poland and set the stage for further aggression. Poland recognized that conceding Danzig might not satisfy Hitler, but instead embolden him to demand more. The Polish government, led by Marshal Edward Ridge-Śmigły and Foreign Minister Józef Beck, refused to negotiate, understanding that compromise would only delay the inevitable confrontation. Fact 4. National identity and sovereignty. For Poland, the issue of Danzig was inseparable from its struggle for national identity. After over a century of partitions and foreign rule, Poland had regained independence in 1918. This newfound sovereignty was hard-won, and the Polish people were determined to defend it at all costs. Danzig symbolized Poland's access to the sea and its integration into the global community. Handing over the city to Germany would have been seen as a betrayal of the sacrifices made during the fight for independence. It would also have undermined Poland's status as a sovereign state, reducing it to a subordinate position in German-dominated Europe. The Polish government's refusal to yield on Danzig was a statement of national pride and defiance. It demonstrated Poland's determination to stand up to German aggression, even in the face of overwhelming odds. 5. Alliances with Britain and France. Poland's confidence in resisting Germany was bolstered by its alliances with Britain and France. In March 1939, as tensions over Danzig escalated, Britain and France issued guarantees of military support to Poland in the event of German aggression. These guarantees were intended to deter Hitler and preserve the balance of power in Europe. However, the effectiveness of these alliances was questionable. Neither Britain nor France had the capability to provide immediate military aid to Poland, given the geographic distance and logistical challenges. Additionally, both nations were reluctant to confront Germany directly, as evidenced by their policy of appeasement during the Sudetenland crisis. Despite these limitations, Poland viewed the guarantees as a lifeline. They reinforced Poland's resolve to stand firm on Danzig, believing that any conflict would draw Britain and France into the war and ultimately lead to Germany's defeat. 6. The prelude to World War II. Hitler used Poland's refusal to surrender Danzig as a pretext for invasion. On August 31, 1939, German operatives staged a false flag operation at the Gleiwitz radio station, blaming Poland for an alleged attack. The following day, German forces launched a full-scale invasion of Poland, marking the beginning of World War II. While Danzig was a focal point of the crisis, Hitler's ambitions extended far beyond the city. The invasion of Poland was part of a larger plan to dominate Europe and establish German hegemony. Poland's resistance, though heroic, was insufficient to halt the German advance, as the country was quickly overrun by the combined forces of Germany and the Soviet Union. Conclusion. Poland's refusal to hand over Danzig to Germany was a principled stand against aggression and expansionism. It reflected Poland's commitment to sovereignty, economic independence, and national identity. While this decision ultimately led to war, it remains a testament to Poland's courage and resilience in the face of overwhelming pressure. The Danzig crisis highlights the dangers of appeasement and the importance of standing up to authoritarian regimes. It serves as a reminder that the defense of freedom and sovereignty often comes at a great cost, but it is a struggle worth undertaking.